Zoom, but we don't have time for that. And back over to you, Margaret Ann.
Okay, thanks, Bertie. Again, thanks everybody for joining us here at Connect Ottawa. We are a business community. Every Tuesday, we have some dynamic people on to share some great information and tips. Again, we're going to be hearing from Connie Warner shortly. And thanks to Bernie for going around and finding these people from all over the universe. So it's very cool because we have literally had people coming in from all over the world, which is very exciting because not only do we hear from different people, different perspectives, different countries. So that's great. And we are thrilled you're here. Thursday, we're actually on our VIP call also talking about relationships and networking. So again, if you want to firm this up and leave the week on a good note, every Thursday from 12 to 1, we have a VIP strategy session. And today we're going to just talk about good old-fashioned relationships. Now, as we get started today, let you all know that we are live on LinkedIn, and we're going to go around and give you briefly 30 seconds. So we've been practicing the business pitch on our VIP calls, and let's see how good everybody is. So 30 seconds, who you are, what you do, maybe who you help, or a solution that you solve, or something pertinent. Time yourselves, and where will we start? Angela, I think we're going to start with you.
No pressure. I'm Angela Day. I'm in Hamilton in Scotland. I'm a lot of different things. I do lots of different things, lots of different people to help them feel better and become the people they were designed to be. So whatever's going on, whatever blockages are in their lives, I would love to work with them to clear their blockages and help them feel and be better.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Angela.
Was that quick enough?
And how about Leslie Marsh? Nice to see you here.
Hello, going for all the Scots first, are we? Okay then. I'm Leslie Marsh. I'm a coach, consultant, and shamanic practitioner, among other things. And I want to know whose talk you're walking and if it's yours. Have you ever asked yourself that question? Whose story are you telling? Which one are you carrying? And if you want to talk to me and figure out how to rewrite your story and tell a different one, my links are in the chat room.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Leslie. Okay, how about Tanya? Nice to see you here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Hewitt. I normally introduce myself as being from the unceded territories of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples, which might better be known these days as being the headquarters of occupational things. But anyway, I would like to see organizations embrace what Connie's going to be talking to us about today. I think focusing on people in organizations as opposed to just profit can make our lives, our organizations, and our society much healthier overall.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Tanya. And how about Anna?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you again. I'm Anna Jensen, and I am living in Scotland also. So another one, but I am Danish of heritage. I'm a management consultant, and I help business owners reduce complexity in this very complex world we are in growing their business. And I help them implement the solutions that we in collaboration arrive at being the right ones for them. So if you want to speak to me one-to-one, I'll put my details in the chat. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Anna. And Maria.
Hi. So again, we will start with, y'all are contagious. One of these days, I'm going to end up being an entrepreneur, just hanging out with you guys. So I like to help people. I like to try and help them close the gap in either finding someone who is able to help them do something or learn something. And I'm also discovering that I would like to help people learn how to be human again, if that makes sense. This is me off the cuff and flying. So I would like to help people learn to be human again. So this presentation today with Connie is, I think, going to be very beneficial.
Perfect timing. Okay, well, thanks, Maria. Great. Mayank, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. You're looking as beautiful as always, you know.
Why, thank you.
I'm not hitting
thank you. I appreciate that.
What?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, that was from Margaret, Bernie. Well, you look good too.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, but there's something special with her. Anyways, name's Mayank Sharma. I am the owner of MS Bodyworks. I am a certified health coach. I train people specializing in weight loss and complete body transformation. I've got 30 seconds. So I'm like, that's it. So I help anybody who's still breathing and who's willing to take action.
That's good. Thank you, Mayank. Great to have you. Thank you. And how about Jerry Quinn?
Thank you. Bernie invited me, so I thought I'd come and see what this is all about. I'm Jerry Quinn. I have a company called Driving Improved Results. I'm an executive coach with a team of other coaches who help businesses get better and take more to the bottom line. And I'm really all about empowerment, management skills training, executive coaching to help people have more emotional intelligence and run a better business.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. Glad to have you here. How about Jacqueline? Nice to see you.
Hey, and good to see you. I took a long, deep breath. I lifted my shoulders. I took them back and released them down. I'm so pleased to be here. When I'm not teaching about money principles and the art of mortgages, I am the wealthy yogini. I will help you make decisions that you didn't think you wanted to make when it comes to your mind, body, and spirit. When you're looking for those sort of strategies, you need to contact the wealthy yogini. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacqueline. That's great. Okay. And how about Abby? Is it Abby? And you were
Hi. Hey, Bernie, good to see you. So I think this is my third session with this particular, Bernie's group. And happy to be here. Name is Abi. Kind of wear two hats in my day job. I manage the Rideau Community Hub, which is the former Rideau High School for folks in Ottawa, which is now a community hub for nonprofit organizations. We have 20 nonprofits in the building that call the hub their home, and about 150 different programs offered through it. Pre-COVID, we had a footfall of almost 300 clients in the building every day. So that's my day job. And again, my role again is communicating and making sure everything's running fine. And so building relationship and making meaningful connections is what I do. But in my second role, I'm the founder of Nutrition Blocks. It's a new nonprofit organizations. And what we do is we design and develop food security programs in collaboration with existing agencies. So we have about 4 or 5 food programs right now that are operational.
Okay.
And so this topic was something very.
I'm gonna have to keep moving. Sorry, Abby, but you know what? Take your information and put it all in the chat box. Okay.
Yeah,
we guys, we have about 2 minutes, so it's going to be we're going to keep doing a round robin. So you got about 20 seconds now to introduce yourself. So Matthew, how about you?
Hi, my name is Mathieu Lacaire. I'm the founder of Mana Partners, Mana Capital. We're a private equity business in Ottawa that invests in U.S. real estate.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice to have you here, Matthew. And Renee, are you there?
I am indeed. Hi, my name is Renee Chandran. I have many hats, but here I am the Eastern Ontario Coordinator for Payroll. We are fully funded by the federal and provincial governments to support women entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Nice to have you here. Siobhan, are you there?
She might be under the weather today, so just
okay.
FYI.
Joshua, not sure. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
It's so dark that you can't even see me. There you go. Hey, I'm Josh Lamb. I'm the owner and principal tech consultant for Sterling Grace Tech. SUT is a full service IT firm providing technical solutions, remote on-site and distance support to small and medium-sized businesses. We have managed technical support plans. We build custom software as well, and we do a little bit of website design on the side.
Perfect.
We're a small team of 3, and we're looking to grow in the Ottawa area. Give me a call if you want your tech to save you or even make you some money.
Perfect. Okay, thanks a lot, Josh. I think we just about Heiner. Not sure if you're there. Okay, Bernie, do you want to do a quick? What's Bernie's alternate?
So Bernie Kranzberg, Creative Insight Consultants. I do B2B connections. So actually, it's people-to-people connections. So you'll see some information inside the chat, how to reach me. One example of it is Pure Fog Canada, a disinfectant that will not kill you, but will go after viruses, bacteria, mold, spore, and fungus. Margaret Ann.
That's
Oh,
good.
actually, Stefan. Oh, is Stefan already go yet?
No, I've got to go to Stefan next. Stefan? Okay, you got 15 seconds. Do it, baby.
My name
10
is
seconds gone.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Bernie.
Sorry.
So I'm just doing you fine. So my name is Stephen John. I'm with Margaret Ann Davis and Bernie Franzgott in the new project of Connect Ottawa 2022 with new features. I'm glad to be there. So I'm also in charge of all and everything that goes with the cloud computing. If you have any question, you can reach out to me. And in the next weeks, we're going to release some new apps for the community.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Stefan. Great job. And for those who don't know me, okay, I am just making a post into the chat. And I'm just going to invite people to check out my LinkedIn profile. So I'm Margaret Ann. I'm a strategic business connector. But what I did my homework from last week. Thursday, we talked about profile boosting. So I went to my profiles and I boosted my profile and filled in what Unified is. I'm a partner with Unified with Stefan. I am a co-founder and partner in Connect Ottawa. And I was trying to get that story clear. So, hey, Leslie, you can go grade me if you want. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Bernie, who's going to introduce our dynamic speaker this week. So take it away, Bernie.
Well, folks, Connie Warner, she is a dedicated person to supporting leaders to connect the power of their mind to the wisdom of their heart. Intuitive, passionate, and with 30 years of business professional consulting experience and a unique background of understanding the responsibilities of being a leader. So she's a connector of the mind at heart, and she's a president and owner of National Quality Training, Inc. As a management consultant, she's implemented ISO 9001 standards into 42 different businesses. As a behavioral analyst and facilitator, she's delivered behavioral assessments. She's worked in other segments of the world, real estate, and as an administrator in a career college. I'm going to stop there because Connie's got the juice. She's got the story. Over to you, Connie.
Okay, I'm going to try to share some slides with all of you, and thank you for inviting me. This is really exciting to listen to. And dynamic, I don't know so much. We've all been locked down so long. I'm not quite sure how dynamic I am. I would love to be there right with you so we can all be together. It was just so interesting that when Bernie talked to me about speaking, and this is the topic I came up with, and I thought, well, it seemed kind of appropriate at this particular time in our country without getting into all of that. But I know I'm speaking to many of you who are entrepreneurs, and I've been an entrepreneur all of my life and done so many different things. And the work that I do today, I've worked a lot with educators. I do a lot of leadership development with principals and want to be principals. I go into their schools and do team building. So I'm a behavioral analyst, and it's helped me in my own business and being able to build teams and being able to understand how I get in the way of my own success and helping other people understand that as well. And so I'm really feeling we're talking a lot today about diversity, equality, and inclusion. And we as Canadians are known as a very tolerant, peacekeeping kind of country, and we care about each other and we take care of each other. And so we see that sometimes that doesn't work, and sometimes our caring can enable bad behavior, and that happens in all of our relationships. And the fact that we are leaders is a privilege. Being a leader is a privilege, and I think that I've been really privileged to be able to be a leader most of my life, and I've had to learn a lot of things. And I'm sure that the things I'm going to speak to you about today, you probably with your backgrounds, this won't be anything new for you. I guess if anything I get from my my speaking is, Connie, you made us think. And if I can even make that happen for you today, that would be my goal. So I'm just going to go through my slides and talk about it, and hopefully you will benefit from some of the things I'm going to say. And we'll see if my slides will work. No, sorry. So we always talk about our brand, and of course, because you are a networking group, and it was lovely to see some of you Scottish people. My background is Scottish, and Leslie, I know I've talked to you, so I know that brand is really important. And what do people hear and see when you show up? And you know, that's so critical. We can talk about what we want, but if we aren't really, really clear on who we are, we aren't aware of how we are showing up. So I heard you talk about emotional intelligence. A few of you are working with that and creating self-awareness. And I really think this sums up who we are in our country in so many ways. And I think that I'm proud to be a Canadian. So I work a lot with the assessment tool, the DISC, and I know that it's been around forever and there's so many out there, but it is a simple one for people to understand. And so I just thought I would go through this with you just to have you contemplate. Are you conscious when you are in your relationships? And are you aware of how you show up? And we look at extroverted and introverted behavior. And so we have, if you are a task-focused extroverted behavior, you would show up as a commander. So it's a very unique gift. I talk about them as gifts and shadows. So the gift of the commander is resilience and the ability to get up every morning and keep on keeping on. And it's a very important gift. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's something certainly that you need to be able to go into this particular gift. It might not be your strongest one, but it'll be required. So recognizing what your gift is and what your skills are, the commander is very much a visionary, big picture person, very results oriented, pitter patter, let's get at her, very direct. But unconsciously, they see such a big picture that they may ignore complexity and say things that might be not so empathetic because they get doing it very fast. Their impatience is their shadow, and I can tell you that I have 100% of the commander. So sometimes our shadow becomes our gift because I become impatient with the status quo and I move myself and yes, I can do it. So this definitely, I totally identify with the task-focused extrovert. And how does that show up? When I'm leading, I've had my people say, Connie, we know what kind of day we're going to have based on how you come in, clicking your heels and, excuse me, and flipping your cape. I had no idea that that's how I was impressing the people around me because I was a young leader and didn't really understand how I was showing up. However, I'm also a people person, 100%. I love people, and so I love to inspire people and be an influencer of people and make the world a better place. So very good at building relationships is this style of person that cares about people, very passionate and very vulnerable, very open, willing to express how they feel. But sometimes they are looking outside of themselves for who they really are, and they need recognition. And when does that become a shadow that unfortunately doesn't show up really well because you always have to be the center of attention? So it's just being really clear about what your gifts are, but what are the shadows that may hold you back from really showing up as the leader that you're meant to be. So some other people are maybe a little more introverted and they hold their cards closer to their chest. And so the task-focused introverted analyzer is the person that I need around me because they see the complexities, they see the details that I don't see. And they do make people accountable people because quality is very important to them. And their skills are they're always seeking the truth, and they are definitely incisive. But sometimes they become the micromanagers because if it isn't perfect, perfectionism may well be their shadow. And how does that show up if you are a leader? Does that disempower your people? So we all have our gifts, we all have our shadows, and there's no judgment here. We can go into any one of these, and it's more about understanding what your strengths are and what your areas that affect you show up. So our supporters, I love these people. I see a lot of them when I'm working with educators. They are the ones with the great empathy, and they're the caring people. Sometimes care too much, but they're wonderful collaborators. They work together, and I think we see a lot of this style in our country. And but they don't speak up sometimes. They withdraw. They don't like to be challenged, and it can be very difficult for them. So I just went through that. I'm sure it's nothing new for any of you, but it's where do you hang out most of the time, and how does that show up for the people that you are out to impress or to communicate with or to build relationships with? We are all different, but the greatest gift you can give yourself is the ability to adapt into any one of these when it's needed, because you can read the behavior of who you're speaking with. So just a contemplation opportunity. What behavior another presses your buttons the quickest? What is it that really will get to you? And I'd love to be able to have a discussion with you, but we don't have time. But just think about what behavior presses your button the quickest. For me, I can tell you it's don't tell me what to do. And we're seeing some of that today, a lot of it, as a matter of fact, don't tell me what to do. And so because I'm driven by anger is my impatience. And immediately, if I can't manage that, I'm in conflict. Or if it might be that criticism is your thing that really presses your buttons, the minute you're criticized, you move into fear and feel that you're not being perfect, then how do you respond? Do you either shut down or do you fight back? How do you manage your responses? And then which of your own behaviors press other people's buttons? And I know because I'm an extrovert, I definitely can affect people that are not as extroverted as me, and they can shut down on me. And so I've had to recognize my pattern if I'm going to lead, or if I'm going to have relationships with my family. I have 2 sons who I think still love me in spite of it all. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect. So it really is just getting to know who you are. I also work with emotional intelligence and really understanding how we think, how we feel, and what we do. And being aware enough to recognize how our values, judgments, and biases may be affecting our decisions, and how does that show up emotionally for us, and then how do we manage it so that we can get into an adult position where we are caring and accountable in our relationships. So our behaviors and values, our behaviors are our values in action. And we certainly are seeing that today. You know, we make choices based on what we value. And when we're focused on getting our values met, we're focused on our own needs and act from our own ego. An ego is about I. It involves processes or reactions in which I, me, or mine figure prominently. We perceive the world and interpret events from our personal vantage point. So we have patterns that were developed in childhood, and I'm not a psychologist. I'm just another person trying to help other people understand, because I've been there myself. So what pattern did we pick up from our parents, our teachers, our authority figures? And how do they now show up and become coping strategies for us in our adulthood? So I do have another assessment tool that I work with where we look at how do we think, you know, and how do we feel based on, you know, our childhood and experiences that we've had, the emotions that were created from like 0 to 7, and how are they still showing up in our adult. And when we get into adult, we want to be there without judgment, where we're speaking our truth. And Bernie, I did not set my clock, so I have no idea how much time I have.
Should be good. You get at least another 10 minutes.
Okay. So this is an assessment tool that looks at the different patterns. And when we are in our thinking, we are in parent. And when we are in our feelings, we are in our child, where it's emotional memory, creativity, and fun. And when we get into adult, it's where we communicate without judgment. But if we are thinking through our own biases and our judgments, we may well be overprotective parent or critical parent, when we're really trying to be encouraging parent where we are not in judgment. We are there to support and be parent. When we're in our child, I mean, I just love it when we can finally be in free child. And Margaret, somehow I sense that you're in free child a lot. I just was hearing free child from you, where we can just be open, transparent, and vulnerable without any worrying about what people are thinking. Otherwise, we go into compliance, we shut ourselves down, we don't speak up, or we go into rebellion. So I can tell you, with that extroverted impatience, anger, I can go into rebellious really fast. So being aware of how I just let somebody press my button and they took my power away and I'm rebellious. So it's learning about how do I manage this? So where do you think that you're most likely to go when your buttons are pressed? Because the goal is to get into adult where we can be a facilitating, interdependent adult without judgment. And it is about our health. It is about taking care of ourselves and not finding ourselves in stressful positions. So when we're in our parent, we want to be encouraging, which is being positive, non-judgmental, building self-esteem in others. And so if we're in leadership, whether we're a parent, whether we're a friend, whether we are a sister, whether we are married or not married, whatever it is, we are all in relationships. And it is so much about understanding how you're affecting the people around you. And so the free child, I think that that's after what we've all been through, it's so much, it's time for us to go back into free child, where we can just enjoy life. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, and it's been very stressful. And so, you know, it's how do we show up now and get back into adult where we can enjoy ourselves and be creative. It's going to take creativity to move us on after what we've experienced. And our shadows, they're, you know, as I worked with different schools, and I've probably worked with 150 of them in Edmonton over the last 20 years. And every time I would go into a new school, I would immediately recognize the style of the leader. And the leader affects everything. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And if you're in a leadership position, it's so critical you understand. So perhaps if you're more introverted and perfectionism is your shadow, you may find yourself in critical parent, where there's judgment, needs perfection, blames others, can't see the big picture. So, you know, it's so much about when does the shadow show up for me? Or if you're overprotective, you know, that's taking power away from people. You need recognition, you need to be involved, and you have to be part of everything. So when does that become verbose? When do people feel they're being overprotected and disempowered? And then if you're into your rebellious, well, you need a control to get the result because you're very results oriented and you want to go it alone. And when you're compliant, you don't speak up. So these are just ideas, you know, they're just something for you to think about. And I know where I go, and I definitely can be overprotective. There's my influencer, my people. I want to take care of everybody. And then the rebellious is, don't tell me what to do. So where do you show up? That would be my question. And it's so much about caring. And I've, you know, seeing a lot of work around this and understanding that the difference between empathy and compassion. And I have someone that I work very closely with, and she's definitely introverted, completely my opposite, very, very empathetic. And I don't have her empathy, but I have compassion. And I really was trying to figure this out. And for me, compassion is support. I understand where you are and I support you. Where she has her empathy she can really feel it, and she can almost go down the rabbit hole with them. And so, being aware of what happens to you when you're really caring about people. How are you responding? And are you able to encourage and listen and include everybody? This is our diversity and inclusion piece when we're leaders, making sure that all of these styles are included. And being able to facilitate, explore through curiosity, the possibilities of the bigger picture, so that we don't get stuck on, it's just got to be this way. We have so much creativity in the world, and let's just open ourselves up to it. Interdependent, have the confidence to listen and share each other's perspectives. And so this is so needed right now. And then the free, communicate with passion, just be open and expressive. I love Brené Brown because she's been teaching us that for a long time. So you want to create an environment where people care about you and that you care about them. And it really is feeling connected and belonging. And I think that that's, the diversity that we're experiencing in so many ways, being diverse and having such different opinions. This is really a time for us to think about, what does caring mean and how much judgment is involved in all of this. And feeling cared for leads to feeling included. And I think that that's a very big message for us right now. And so that's the caring part, but the accountability part, which really is all about when we don't speak up and we don't have the fearless conversations, we enable bad behavior and we are not setting boundaries. And so what's your personal pattern when making people accountable for their behavior? To go into critical judgment, or do you talk about how you feel? Nobody can make you feel anything. Whatever you're feeling is your own biases and experiences. No one can press your buttons unless you let them. So making people accountable and speaking your truth about how you feel without judgment, no one can blame you for that. So it really is about having these fearless conversations. And I know how hard it was for me as a new leader, trying to terminate someone because of their behavior, which was unacceptable. I'm the one that cried. They didn't cry. So, it's really, really tough speaking your truth sometimes. And I really think that this is an important thing for leaders in any position. If you are sitting in your office and your people are waiting for you to speak up because something's going on that needs to be taken care of, you lose trust and respect. So the more that you are capable of speaking your truth and describing how you feel, how it's affecting you and what your needs are, and being able to talk it through. And we're seeing some of that. I mean, we're trying so hard as Canadians to make this happen right now. But it starts with us as individuals being able to be open and speak our truth from our hearts, where if we really know who we are and feel confident and comfortable with who we are. So these are just some ideas. If you're going to go high, you have to shift your energy. Recognize what's going on for you, where you're feeling it, why you're feeling it. How did somebody manage to put you there? Why are you allowing it? And what are your needs? Get clear on what's really missing for you. Check your own self-worth, because if you aren't confident and don't have high self-regard, it's going to show up in all of your relationships. And look for win-win. Really caring and accountability is win-win. I managed a private vocational school, and there had been the leader before had been very much a perfectionist, and they were afraid the whole staff was afraid to do anything in case it wasn't perfect. And so they came to me for everything. It drove me crazy. I didn't have all the answers. And so I used to just say to them, you know what I would do, and is it a win-win? Is the student winning and are we winning? And in no time they were making their own decisions, and we took that college so far. We made so much money for the person that owned it. It was quite amazing. I didn't do it by myself. It was the win-win. So stand in your power, check your language, remember to breathe, which somebody already reminded us that today. That's a big one. So the most important thing you need, I love David McNally from the very beginning. The most important person you need to impress, however, is yourself. This means acting with integrity when no one else is watching. It means keeping your promises and following through in your commitments. It means learning to be in control of yourself when your life feels out of control. And it means staying calm and treating people with respect when you might feel that respect is the last thing they deserve. So here we are. It's all about relationships. If you want to go deeper and talk to me about any of these things, I would love to talk to you about that. So it is an inner work program. It is about understanding ourselves, and thanks for listening today.
Connie, thank you. Does
Now
anybody have any questions?
I was going to have a comment. I can't see everybody. I guess we'll get Connie maybe.
How do I get out of here?
Just stop the share.
Just stop share, and then we'll get back to view, and then we'll see everybody's smiling face.
There. Got it.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like the part about breathing, by the way, Connie. Take a deep breath. There's a running item between Margaret Ann and I. It's just like I've suggested, just that, that kind of that meditative deep breath, and I got told in a good way.
Yes. Isn't that interesting in a good way? Yeah, sometimes it's turned into that, eh, Bernie? Connie, I want to thank you a lot. I really appreciated it. And actually, even though I'm in the relationship business as well, and so I just want to share with you, you were saying I know you all don't, what the thing is we may know and we've touched base on it, but it's so important to bring us back here now and again. I don't know how often we should be doing this house cleaning with our relationships and going back and really thinking about it. But I really thank you. It was perfect timing, and I had a lot of ha-has when you were going through it. So thank you. Now, sorry, Bernie.
I think Renee had her hand up.
Yeah, Renee had her hand up.
Yeah, Renee did.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the presentation, Connie. I'm curious, when you go back to the slide with your introvert versus extrovert, and then you had that interesting spider web where you were saying that your default position is to kind of go into rebellion, right? If somebody kind of provokes you.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, how do you improve your self-awareness? How do you decrease that habit? How do you strengthen other behaviors so you aren't as triggered, or if you are triggered, that you don't just go fight or flight kind of thing? You don't go full out rebellion. What does that look like?
Well, for me, I think it really showed up when I wasn't confident enough. My self-worth wasn't high enough as when I was younger, and I took things very personal, and it doesn't bother me as much today because I know who I am. I know what I am. I know what my strengths are, and I don't react like I used to react. I don't know if that answers your question. I really feel it's about confidence.
It's about confidence. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mayank, you have a question?
First of all, I would like to say, Connie, this was a very gangster presentation. I really liked it because that is what you need to scale your business. And when it comes to keeping self-promises, it's so true that self-confidence is all about keeping promises that you make to yourself, not to anyone else, because every time you say something and you don't act on it, you're just cracking your confidence every day, and it continues, and then at some point your own word means nothing to you. So I don't have a question. I just wanted to just add on to it because this was a very good presentation, and everybody here, I believe, are entrepreneurs or self-employed people, and this is the golden information everybody needs to make it to the 1% or the elite population of the world or the Canada, whatever.
Thank you. Thank you.
Conversations are the key to success, eh? Well, it starts with a relationship. Anybody else got any comment? Tanya, I saw you putting some things in the chat. Did you want to elaborate on any of that?
Well, I guess, okay, if I wanted to elaborate on a couple of points that I put in there, I have appreciated recently from a couple of sources that a lot of society is premised on work on your weaknesses. Identify your weaknesses and see if you can work on them so that you can build them up, kind of the thing. But this alternate narrative is saying, you know what? Nobody is perfect and everybody has weaknesses, but everybody has strengths. It's best to work on your strengths. Try to really hone your strengths. And if you have weaknesses, and for your weaknesses, see if you can partner with somebody for whom that is their strength, as opposed to working on your weaknesses, you know, in this mantra that we hear about a lot. So that was one thing. Another thing is when Connie was talking about how you can be nice to people and make things worse. I mean, this is the world of toxic positivity and ruinous empathy and you know, willful blindness and all this kind of stuff that I absolutely love. So it is very possible that in your fear of offending somebody's feelings, that you don't tell them things that they should know about themselves. And I mean, it all has to be done delicately and, you know, in the right way. But withholding information from somebody that they should know for fear of getting them upset is not helping. It just isn't. And Kim Scott in Ruinous Empathy has a gorgeous story about that. So those were some of the things I was putting in the chat.
Cool. Connie, do you have any comments? And then we'll move on to Stefan.
No, I think that's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think we need to focus on our gifts, and because the shadows are without the shadow, you don't get to your gift. So it's learning, to me, you know, my weaknesses force me to move into my gift if I want to survive and have relationships that I can work with. And absolutely speaking up is critical, and not being afraid to say what isn't working. But the big thing is about how you do it, and without judgment, so you're not blaming everyone else for how you're feeling.
And this whole relationship building, because I don't know how old everybody is on the call, but you know what? It is a lifelong learning. You know, like I like that when, you know, things are implanted by the time we're 7, and then it's how we take this and start figuring out that, oh, that's not quite. So, you know, the bright age of 60, I don't know if it's something to do with 60 and relationships, but I think a lot different than I was when I was 20. And not that it's bad, it's just like developed and maybe been a little bit more grounded, still have a lot of work to go. Stefan, how about you?
Yeah, I had a question for Connie. I would like to know if you have an agenda of courses to teach all those teachings. You know, do you offer online courses?
We do, but we are in the process. Actually, I have a partner who's the other part of me, that is the introvert that does amazing, beautiful, creative things. We're doing an app. We have an app that's about to launch, and it does have courses involved in it, and it's very exciting. And you know, you've had to come up with things like that because we can't see each other at the moment. We can't all be together. So yeah, I certainly can do Zoom. I work a lot on Zoom, so individual and teams on Zoom. Does that answer your question, Stefan?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And Stefan, I'll just add a little plug in there for anybody that is looking to launch courses online and is going, I'm not sure where to start. That is one of the services that Connect Ottawa is partnered with Unified that we're offering. So if anybody's in the realm of saying, okay, I'm ready to get things up online, I'm not sure how to start, that is something that we offer. So I'll just throw that in there with everybody as well. Comments on relationship. Jerry, you know what, Jerry? Can I pick on you? Jerry, what did you think?
Yeah, so this is fascinating. I also offer a disc. And one of the questions that was posed about how do you make changes and how do you get out of your established patterns? It's really difficult because those patterns are established very early before age 7. And a lot of times people just repeat those patterns all through their lives with different circumstances. And until they become a lot more aware, maybe even work with a coach, they just repeat the same patterns over and over again. And it's easy to say, okay, once I know it, I'll stop repeating it. Well, it doesn't work that way because of neuroscience. We have, oxytocin coming from our executive brain and cortisol coming from our amygdala. And those cocktails of different hormones are in our brains and have a lot to do with what behavior we're generating and maybe eliciting from others as well. And so if we want to change patterns, we're changing neuro pathways. And when we change neuro pathways, it's like building a muscle. You have to make it stronger and stronger. And so getting those muscles or the neural pathways stronger and stronger is repetitive. And so you need an accountability partner sometimes to help you develop new habits. So all that is part of what I'm sure Connie incorporates into her work and what I incorporate into mine.
Yes, and I often, because it's Raul is called, this is a great way to start practicing too. Come on out and create new relationships. So one of the things we do I'm just got a little plug on the networking call, is if there's somebody that's resonated with you in the call, I encourage you to reach out to 1 or 2 people from this call and have a conversation with them and start a new relationship. Maybe that would become your new accountability partner. Mayank, you have another comment?
Yeah, when Jerry was talking about the patterns, I think the starting point is to recognize them, because they lose all the power to you once you know consciously that you are running on a pattern, because 90% of the population don't even know that they have a pattern. Like, if take an example, if when you shower, you basically move your hands in the same way every year, every day. It's a pattern that mind saves every time. Once you recognize it, it's done. The second thing is, I think that helped me when I made a big change in my life, is if you want to develop a new habit, start by practicing it only for 2 minutes, 120 seconds. That's it. Like, if you want to be a reader, read 120 seconds and that's it. Like, start by doing that activity for only about 2. Even if it's a workout, do 10 jumps and that's it. If you've never worked out, you do the same thing. Or make a phone call. Start with 1 phone call, 1 page, 1 paragraph, 1 podcast, 1 audio. If you can do it for 2 minutes, then your mind will expand, because your mind only expands when you hit your mind with something new.
So true.
So I just will make this one comment about relationships, that find somebody that's completely going to press your buttons and you'll soon figure it out. Trust me, I've experienced it.
Connie, a lot of things that you were saying, I actually really resonated with. And one thing that I always is one of my mantras about change, if it's going to be, it's up to me. So when I'm out with relationships and the way I react, it's how we react. So, it's playing these things over. If you walk into the house every night and you have an argument with your spouse or kids or whatever, like, replay that in your head. And it's really interesting when you start being conscious of that and going, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing and I want to stop. So, the first, I guess, is recognizing that, I actually do that. And then it's changing my dialogue, right? Because we can't change them, but we can change ourselves. So if change is going to be, it's with us, I think. So I'm just throwing that out there because I've done a lot of playing up here over the years. So if you could leave us with, because we're at 154, I'll ask you, Connie, if you want to leave us with 3 takeaways from today's thing. What's the top 3 takeaways you'd like to leave us with? And then we'll have Bernie announce our upcoming events and what's happening after the call. And so, Connie, what are 3 things that you would like people to take away from your chat today?
Well, I just think the biggest thing is be true to yourself. I say that over and over and over. Speak your truth and know what that is and know what that means and know how that affects other people. That's my main message. I'm a messenger, really. When you try to, what's your brand? I'm a messenger. I have a message and some people get it and some people don't, but I've been through it all myself. I've been around a long time. I've been in business for many years. I've done many things. And I've learned a lot of stuff. And if I can help others make their life easier, I guess that would be my goal. And with what we've been through and what we are going through here, I think that the more we can learn to take care of each other and at the same time make people accountable, it's got to be a win-win. And so I think crazy little old words that go back forever, win-win, that's what I think you need to do in all of your relationships. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Connie. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank
Bernie,
you.
what's happening next week?
In 5 minutes after the hour, you're going to get a survey, folks. So that's the first part. The second part, this coming Thursday, we are having a core VIP session, and it's going to discuss networking and relationships. So just a continuation of life from here. Then next week, we have Quentin Thomas from the UK coming in, Beating the Rut, Freedom Found. So those that are looking for career changes and want to change things up. Everything's in the chat. And the other important part about the chat is hit those 3 little dots, save the chat.
Save the chat. You know what? I'm trying to make a post in the chat and I've got it so big on my screen here. So this is just giving you a little rendition of what. No, I copied the wrong thing. Oh, well, that's okay. I was going to share Thursday from 12 to 1. It does require a ticket. It's part of our VIP sessions. And yes, we're talking about networking and relationships. So we're going to do some little role playing and have form. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of form, but if you're a little bit nervous about starting a conversation, it's tips on getting those conversations started. Like, what do we ask? What do we say? How do we show up? What are we doing? How do we look professional? But above all, I like to refer to this. If you don't have time to laugh, you're too busy. That's what I keep around here, because I think in all this craziness in the world that no matter what, we still have to have fun to laugh. So thank you all for joining us today. If there's any, you know what, this is really shocking. I had 3 minutes. We usually are running off at 2. So does anybody have a comment or something? Oh, good, Jerry.
Yeah, so I'm running a webinar. I'm being featured on a webinar on the Great Resignation, and that's on the 17th, which is Thursday at 5:15. I put the information in the chat. So a quick self-plug. Thank you for letting me be shameless, and hope you can come.
Perfect.
Question for Jerry, because I've noticed that, and I registered myself, but there is no Zoom link to that. Are we going to be sent a Zoom link or something else? It's only
the LinkedIn link that I gave you takes you to the place where you can sign up. And if you look closely at the details, it says go to webinar. And then, so the link there includes the go to webinar. So go to the LinkedIn invitation and you'll see the go to webinar link.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That makes sense.
Thanks for noticing that, because it's easy to miss.
We have 2 minutes. Somebody's got 10 seconds. Okay. And thank all you people for coming across from Scotland. Nice to see you again. Go ahead, Bernie.
And you guys from Ottawa too. So
oh yeah,
you didn't come